Jesus Christ, really?
Don't forget to become a member of UnrealEntGaming's Patreon for exclusive manga content and early access. Isn't that right, Seth?
I already joined his Patreon today. Tons of great stuff on there, actually. But did you really have to blow up the city?
Yes.
Blew up the domino. You blew up the domino, and you're laughing. Do you realize the f***ing crisis here?
And you will be next. Unless you subscribe, like the video, and turn on notifications right now.
Or else what? You'll aggressively scream another man's name for several hours?
Kakarot! Kakarot!
And so it looks like it's all now finally come down to this, as the stakes couldn't have been any higher than they are right now, for the outcome of this battle could have far-reaching implications, not just for the fighters themselves, but for the very balance of the future timeline itself. Every moment of this battle has been a display of unparalleled combat prowess. From Hit's strategic brilliance to Goku Black's raw power and adaptability, we have witnessed a spectacle that will be remembered for ages to come. But only one of them will be the last man standing by the time this is over, and I'm afraid that if Universe 6's Hit isn't careful, then it could mean the end of everything that he's worked so very hard for as he knows it.
As our story now continues following the initial events of having Super Saiyan Rose Goku Black battle against the assassin Hit at full power, as with neither warrior shown backing down to the other and willing to go all the way to secure their victory, was when Goku Black went on to address Hit by then responding, "You, along with all of those who are just like you, are nothing more than puppets of the gods. You mortals are all slaves, and yet you still choose to go against me, who is ironically trying to free you all from bondage. How disgusting of you. But you mark my words, assassin, whether Goku and his friends return or not, they will all learn of your death that will come by my hands, and if I fall now, then there will be no one left who will carry out my vision unless I am the one to act on it. And so you know that you can't beat me, and so I will also go as far as to show you exactly why." With Hit responding, "I find it funny that you claim that we are all slaves to these gods while you look to enslave us yourself and mask it as being a generous and forgiving god. So just save your breath while you still can, but I will go as far as to say this before we finally settle this. And that is that I truly found myself enjoying this battle of ours, Black. For not only have you helped me improve my time-skipping technique, but you've also helped me grow even stronger than I was before," Hit continues. "And that's not really something that you should be happy about of learning either, so you don't stand a chance here, and you know it." With Black responding, "Well, good, because I was hoping that you'd give me a good enough fight so that I can warm up for before engaging against Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks for when they arrive. For little do you know that you've helped me too, because I've also gotten stronger, you worthless bug." To which, as Goku Black was from there shown having to power up even more so than how he did before, was when Black then went on to continue, "You are nothing more than a stepping stone to me, assassin, for you are only as good and made useful for your services as a hitman and nothing more. Which I find to be a shame, because you would have been a mighty asset in our efforts of destroying all mortals, but you are worth nothing to me, dead or alive, which is why you must be destroyed here and now." Interesting, Hit went on to then say to himself, but little does he know that he is about to walk into a trap no matter how badly he tries to destroy me, for if I could go and pull this off, then he is completely finished. But I have to be careful, because unless somehow he knows and is waiting for me to make a mistake, then I've got to try and act fast before he puts an end to my one and only plan. "You went and made a grave mistake, assassin. assassin, for I am no ordinary adversary, for I am a god whose power transcends your very understanding. And I will decimate you and prove to you that my strength is an ever-growing force with no rivals or equals. And so you know that your time is dwindling, so what could you possibly hope to try and do that will save you, Black Questions? There will be nothing left of you when this is all over, assassin. I hope you know that, you fool. Well, hearing you talk about how great this power of yours is makes me sick to my stomach, especially when I look into your face to see who it's coming from, Hit responds. For the real Son Goku would never, but that is why you are both so different. For one has honor and fights with conviction, while the other hides behind someone else's power in hopes of having it save them. To which seconds later, with Hit being shown having to be the first to make his move, was when Hit went on to then continue, but as long as I am still standing in your way, then you don't have the slightest chance of executing it, Kaioshin. Now go and hold nothing back if you want to see your mission through by getting me out of your way. In which upon the moment of contact, the second Goku Black was from there shown having to engage against Hit, was when Black then went on to respond, do you think that this is some kind of a game, assassin? For how dare you try and make a mockery out of me? As if you and your kind could ever try and understand the nature of what I am, mortal scum. For you could never understand my anger, Black went on to respond by kicking Hit in the face. For I was meant to become so much more than what I was told that I could be, as I am now both the creator and the destroyer. So you may try and resist as much as you'd like, because it won't matter, Black went on to continue by dashing towards Hit. You'll just end up failing just like Goku and Vegeta had failed when they tried to stop me. For you'll be lucky to make it out of this city alive, let alone with your head attached to your shoulders, assassin. I was getting a little desperate there, aren't we, Black? Hit went on to then question. For I wonder if it's because you and I both know that your time on this planet and within that stolen body of yours is nearing its end. So face it, Black, for you and I both know that your raw power simply cannot compare to my vast arsenal of skillful techniques. In which from that moment on, as Hit was beginning to turn the tides against Goku Black, was when Goku Black then went on to respond, oh, don't be ridiculous, assassin. For most of your trademark attacks and techniques are something that this body had already battled against, on top of also being memorized and but then, it was from out of nowhere just before Goku Black could even go as far as to finish, where Hit went on to strike Goku Black in the ribs by then responding, don't even try it, because you are not and will never be the real Son Goku. As within that very moment, as Goku Black's body was then sent flying out into the distance and crashing down onto the ground, was when Hit then went on to say to himself, and now that he's down, I have to take this small moment within our battle to attack him with everything that I've got while I still can. So now tell me then, have you had enough yet, or do you still want me to go and do that again? Because I can go and do that all day without breaking a sweat, fallen Kaioshin. Oh, so can I, assassin, so can I, Black responds, for you are without a chance, and so now watch. To which from out of nowhere, the second Hit was then shown having to attempt to go for an attack with Goku Black using instant transmission and getting out of the way, was when Black went on to then respond, you severely underestimate my fighting prowess, assassin, for you can't even begin to imagine on what this body of mine is capable of, but very soon you will start to understand. But by then, it will already be far too late for any of you to do anything that will stop me from having my revenge. What could you possibly hope for, Hit? Black went on to then question. That Son Goku and his friends will somehow find a way to save you? Because they won't, and once I am able to learn more about the way you are able to use those techniques of yours, will be the very moment where I will start to use them in battle too, assassin. As from out of nowhere, with Black then shown grabbing onto the back of Hit's skull, and from that point then shown slamming his head onto a building and dragging it nearby, was when Black then went on to continue, this would have been so much easier on the both of us if you had simply accepted your limits and admitted defeat rather than continue continuing to be punished with the way that I'm starting to punish you now, mortal. For no longer will I ever be told on what to do by the very gods who would sink as low as to hire a mortal such as yourself to simply go and do their dirty work for them, for I am far above such things, as I am far above both Saiyans and assassins in allowing myself to be overtaken and beaten by the likes of your kind. For my destiny will not be blocked nor ripped away from me by any of you who wish to stand in my way of completing my mission. And I'll make sure that you pay dearly for what you did to me earlier, Black went on to continue by then grabbing onto his heart. Wait a second, Hit went on to then say to himself, of course, that blow to his heart is still effective enough in slowing him down a bit, which means that this could be my one and only chance to stop him. And so I will go and end it with this, Black went on to put his hands together by then responding, for this should be enough to obliterate every cell in that mortal's body upon the moment of contact. And once he's gone and out of my hair for good, Black continues, will be the very moment when I will go and find my way into targeting Lord Champa once I destroy Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks, since I already know that they'll be making their way back here very soon as well. And the more I am able to grow and adapt in battle, the more powerful that I will continue to become. You seem to be in some sort of a rush to put an end to me, Hit went on to then dash towards Black by responding, especially with what I just saw coming from you, and I'm starting to now wonder as to why that is, as that attack of yours that you are getting ready to try and fire will not be working on me again, Black. Oh no, I don't think so, assassin, Black went on to then quickly respond by kicking Hit in the chest, as if you'd be strong enough to go and endure what's about to happen to you now anyways. And now that I can see on just how big of a problem you're starting to be, I have you locked in my sights for one final move, and this time, I'll go and remind the gods that not even their most skilled assassin was enough to beat me, as next will be Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks, followed by the gods after. And so now prepare to be destroyed, as Hit went on to then slowly stand back up by then responding, oh, I've got to try and hurry up before he's able to reach me with that blast, but I'll need to wait it out. If I can time this perfectly, then I know that he's done for, so here goes, Hit went on to continue, and if this fails, then it's all over, but I have to still try. I know that this has to work, but I'll need to time it when he least expects it to see it coming though, so tell me, was that all that you were able to dish out, Hit went on to then question? Because here I was hoping that you'd hit a little harder than that, Kaioshin, but I guess I was wrong about you, with Black responding, oh, that's rich coming from the very warrior who is said to have never failed a mission. Well, guess what, assassin? For the first time in your life, this was simply one mission that you couldn't see through until the very end. And that is because this will be the moment where you will finally die by my hands. And so now let this be a message to not only your god of destruction, but for the entire universe, that I am the Alpha and the Omega, assassin. For I am both the beginning and the end. Now disappear into the voids of history. In which within that very moment, as Goku Black from that point was then shown having to fire off his Kamehameha, was when Hit was quickly shown having to retaliate by sidestepping out of the way and unleashing another one of his invisible punches, as Hit went on to then quickly respond, there it is, so now's my one and only chance to end this. You're wrong, Kai, for it won't be me who perishes in this battle, because fate has already reserved that place for you. And so now do yourself a favor and don't try to fight it this time, Kaioshin. In which within that very moment, as a gigantic explosion was now shown taking place within the landscape, was when Hit then went on to continue, that was just way too close for comfort, but did it land? Well, surely it had to have connected, because there was no way that he could have seen that coming. As Hit was now seemingly right, because with Black now shown left in a state of shock in not knowing as to what had just happened, with the dust and debris now beginning to settle all around him, was when Black then went on to utter, but that shouldn't have been possible for him to go and do. What just happened? happened? My body, what did you just do to my body? Wait a second, it was that attack of his, the one that he went and landed on me before, but how did he pull it off when I fired my attack directly at him? He tricked me. I know he did. I knew it. He went for my heart again. He knew that it had weakened me before. How could I have let this happen? How were you able to bypass my attack and attack me, assassin? Why am I more damaged than I was before? Black went on to then question. This was your plan all along, wasn't it? You knew, assassin! That's right, Hit went on to respond by slowly walking towards Black. The moment I struck your heart was when I knew exactly on what I needed to do to beat you, and especially once I saw the reaction that you were giving off, but little did you know that throughout this battle, I wasn't just fighting to strengthen your power, Black, but I was fighting your arrogance. Your belief that you had transcended mortality couldn't have been a greater lie, because look at what you've been reduced to. And it won't be long now until your heart shuts down on you as you slowly start to go to sleep, Kaioshin. And so this was my plan all along, with Black having to respond, but even if you were able to land another attack on my heart, I shouldn't be going through this much pain. And so how did you know? How did you know that this was going to be my biggest vulnerability in battle? You overplayed your hand and you definitely overstayed your welcome, Hit responds as Black went on to power back down to base. My silence was my strategy in waiting for the precise moment to strike your heart again, and as I knew that such a hit would be something that no mortal nor Kai would never be able to recover from after two lethal blows to the same spot. My tactic was to always bide my time and strike your heart a second time by any means, because I knew that in a one-on-one fight when up against your raw power that I would lose. So I made sure that you took the bait until you were comfortable enough to start making mistakes, Hit continues. And now that you did, this fight along with your mission to destroy all life across the multiverse is hereby over, Black. So you knew that you couldn't beat me in a test of strength, so you instead went with using your vital techniques as a distraction just to expose my heart, the one and only area that you knew I was weakened in, didn't you? You tricked me. You've been fooling me this entire time. With Hit responding, I was, and I did. And guess what? It worked. And now that you're starting to see that for yourself, your days are hereby numbered, Hit continues, as no matter what you try and do, even if you tried escaping, you're bound to collapse and die somewhere in this universe all by yourself. And do you honestly believe that any of what you just said is going to matter, assassin? For I am the very representation of what makes Son Goku the warrior that he is, which means that I cannot die, as you'll see, for it'll be just like it was when you tried this little trick on me earlier. With Hit responding, except before I struck your heart once, but this time, however, you will not be so lucky to just stand there and walk away. So do yourself a favor and just accept the outcome of your future and know that you have lost. And if you don't believe me, then just look at where you are now as you're fading and fading fast. With Black quickly responding, I'll show you what it means to fade, assassin. Now just stay right where you are and don't try and move, or I'll end you one way or... To which, as Goku Black was then shown firing a blast, it was only fairly evident now that with his blast now being shown completely missing was when Hit went on to then respond, and I told you that it was pointless. Even if that energy blast were to hit me, it still wouldn't have been strong enough for you to do any sort of real damage against me. With Black now being shown collapsing on down to a knee by then responding, this cannot possibly be happening to me right now, for everything that I've worked so hard to achieve. All that I have done to create a new utopia, it's all gone now. How could I have not seen this coming? Why was I not able to prevent this? You failed because you assumed that there would be no other mortal out there who would stand up to your evil ways of attempting to purge the multiverse of all life, Black. As in the end, you were never the true Son Goku, but only a distorted reflection of the warrior that I once knew and battled, it continues. For you went and brought this upon yourself, and you know it, when it all could have been prevented. You allowed for this to happen, and it will be you who pays the ultimate price for all of the pain that you went and caused, Black. Curse you, assassin! Mark my final words. You and those like you will never destroy me. I will go on and exist elsewhere, for I am forever mortal. To which, as Goku Black was then shown collapsing on down to his knees, was when Hit went on to respond, maybe, but at least I know that in this timeline you will never see the light of day ever again. For I can feel it in the air as we speak, Kaioshin, as you are but a few moments away from crossing over into the afterlife, and it couldn't have happened any sooner. And so now sleep, for an enemy like you could never be given the chance to roam freely with how dangerous you are to the very balance of the multiverse, Hit continues. And then to think that you almost had me back there too, but instead your arrogance had blinded you from seeing what I had brewing for you all along, and all I needed was a bit of time to do it. But even with you dead, my mission is still not over, for with one down, only one remains, Hit continues. And I vow to make sure that he goes the same way you went, Black. But at least here, life can start to heal and evolve with you out of the way, for you should have destroyed me when you had the chance, because truthfully, you had several, and so what a shame. And for a second, it almost felt like I was actually truly fighting the real Goku, until you started to make mistakes that the real Son Goku would never go and make. And now to find your partner, for when I was told that there would be two of you, I wasn't expecting for one to inhabit a stolen body while the other had used his own vessel as a weapon. And although the next one might not be an easy one, I have to make sure that no matter what happens, you perish just like your counterpart did, Hit continues. And whether you're immortal or not, I will find a way to obliterate you. But where to find you is the question, for he could be anywhere, including here in this very city, so I'll have to go and find a way to draw him out, Hit continues. Because if this one is given the chance to escape, then it could get ugly, and I'll have to search for him fast, unless he knows that I was already here, which I'm sure he'll soon see. And if he's going to be anything like Black was, then I'll need to use a different strategy, but even then, I know that you're around here somewhere, Kai, so it's only going to be a matter of time. To which, as Hit was then shown having to leave the city, was when Hit went on to then continue, but just know that with your ally gone, you're next, and there won't be anything that you can try and do that will stop what's coming, Kaioshin. And no matter where you hide or where you try and go, I will find you and I will destroy you, Zamasu. As it was only right then and there now, during that moment, where the Beyond Dragon Ball Super story of the Assassin Hit versus Goku Black in the future timeline manga chapter number 4 finale then comes to a close. Now, even though despite it being a very controversial subject with many fans having their own personal favorites involving both Hit and Goku Black, you can make no mistake about the fact that if such a battle were to occur, would it not only be a very entertaining battle to see go down, but it would also go as far as to display the feats of both characters, since both characters were shown to adapt very rapidly in the Dragon Ball Super show. The overall narrative that I wanted to tell involving the story of Goku Black versus Hit was by introducing two different elements for each character and having them both operate very differently, since of course they both have very different but yet unique fighting styles, as one would only go as far as to imagine as to what it would actually feel like to take two of those hard punches by Hit at the same time back to back like that. So what I would like to know from you guys down in the comment section below right now is which of the two characters do you believe would win in a hypothetical one-on-one fight and why, on top of letting us know on which of the two characters do you believe would have the higher adaptability rate and would essentially possess the most broken moveset between Goku Black and Hit when they're unrestricted, as I do always want to go as far as to say thank thank you all so much for enjoying this story, to which once again, all of this and so much more is only just the tip of the iceberg of all of the content that I have coming your way very soon. So if you're not already a member of my Patreon and do want to support the fan manga content that you see on this channel, on top of gaining additional content and access to my art, soundtracks, PNGs, fan mangas, and so much more, then I do encourage for you guys to become a member of my Patreon today, patreon.com/UnrealEntGaming, to where I will go on ahead and leave those links located down in the description box below and pinned comment section below as well, in which, as always, if you guys enjoyed, then be sure to give this video a big fat thumbs up by smashing that like button down below. Smash that subscribe button if you guys also just so happen to be new to the channel as well. Tune back in for more, because once again, if you thought that you've seen it all, then boy oh boy, you haven't seen anything yet. So again, I want to thank you all so much for your time, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll be seeing each and every single one of you down in the comment section below and in the next video. Take it easy, everybody, and have a great day. Peace.
Hello. Did you know that you can stay up to date with the latest Dragon Ball content by simply subscribing to UnrealEntGaming?
Also, don't forget to follow on these social media platforms, you sexy son of a bitch.
Roshi.
Silent Cell, me and the fans are having a moment. That's right. I know what you want. Extra long, thick Dragon Ball content. Quality reviews with flawless editing. Yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you? You dirty bitch.
Roshi, the fuck?
God damn it, I need them to subscribe, Cell.
And we're demonetized.
Yeah, screw it. Let's cut to the video.